Now, I said earlier, we're shortchanging the nation's youth by giving them an education that fails to prepare them for life's challenges, while also convincing them that the world is about to end as a result of climate change. This would be regrettable enough, but it's not the whole story. We're making young people's lives even more difficult by obstructing them from buying their own homes. Like education, this has been a slow process that we barely saw happening. But now the figures are in, and there is no denying it. Property owners are enjoying a windfall from a system that is almost deliberately designed to keep supply low and young people from entering the market. It works like this. The Australian adult population can be divided into three almost equal groups: those who've paid off their homes, those who are still paying off their homes, and those who are renting and hoping one day to buy. Generally speaking, you can say these groups correlate with age. The older you are, the more likely you are to have bought, then paid off the home. Now, a house isn't what it used to be under, say, the Prime Ministership of Robert Menzies from 1949 to 1966. In his famous Forgotten People speech of 1943, Menzies waxed lyrical about the symbolic significance of a man's home. Quote, "My home is where my wife and children are. The instinct to be with them is the great instinct of civilised man, the instinct to give them a chance in life, to make them leaners, not lifters. Not leaners, but lifters. This is a noble instinct," unquote. How often do you hear politicians say things like that these days, linking old-fashioned domestic bliss with the raising of tough, independent children? The politics of home ownership is now largely financial. When the Labor government deregulated the financial industry in the 1980s, it made home mortgages not only more competitive, but also more flexible. Suddenly, people were able to use property equity to buy new cars and holidays, and the homes themselves became more symbols of status than the sacred places Menzies described. Since then, their dollar values have soared. The value of houses in Melbourne have quadrupled in real terms since 1982. In Sydney, they've tripled. Property owners might not have worked for this wealth, but governments know they fiercely defend it. Labor tentatively proposed to take some heat out of the housing market by reducing the benefits of buying investment properties during the 2019 federal election campaign. The idea was thoroughly mocked, even by working class people, some of whom had managed to become property investors themselves. Both major parties now know not to jeopardise the precious gains property owners have made. Both parties could, of course, partially solve this problem by proposing to scrap the absurd policy of enforced superannuation.